Our Adventure Book, a podcast where we help you turn family travel dreams into unforgettable memories. We are your hosts, Jenny and Eve, and this podcast is designed to help take the stress out of family travel. Hi, Eve.
Hi, Hi. I'm so excited to get this started with you. This podcast is something we've been talking about because as parents, we want to travel with our families, and we thought, why don't we share our love of travel with other people? Um, it started a passion for us, and we want to hear about your trips, and we want to help you, and we want this to be fun and real and relatable. So we're really excited to be here. Today, we're going to talk about how we got started and give a couple of tips.
Yep, we're so excited to be here. Eve and I have been travel buddies for a long time, I would say. How long has it been? Like 17 years?
Yeah, we've been best friends for probably, I don't know, 18 plus
Yeah.
years. And we kind of got the travel bug when our kids were in school together and we had a fall break. Tell us
Yep.
about that, Jenny.
And then, so we both decided okay, so our oldest kids are in third grade, correct? Yes.
Hmm.
So they were in third grade, and we both decided this was a great time for our families to visit Disney. Now, we were going to be visiting Walt Disney World at the same time, but not necessarily going together because y'all were going with like grandparents and all that, and we were just going with just four of us. Like we left my daughter at home. But we, for months, planned this trip together. Like you planned your portion, I planned my portion. We did our homework, and it was so much fun.
I remember it being so much fun, but also being very overwhelming.
Yes.
And I think if we hadn't had each other, it would have felt even more overwhelming. And we enlisted a friend who literally sat down with us with kind of old school travel books. We pulled out maps. She helped us plan. And we were like, wow, that's a lot. And we would bounce ideas off each other because it's always having fun to have a friend or just listen to a podcast where you get ideas and you learn things or think about things that you weren't going to do before. And so doing that made it amazing. But I also know that we did that first trip and we learned so much that we both were like, we have to go back the next year.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely caught the Disney bug on that trip.
100%.
Okay, so thinking back to that planning, was that even before there was an app for Disney? Because we had paper maps. I don't even remember.
I don't think there was an app because I remember going to the old school fast lane,
Hmm.
where you had to go and you had to punch it in after each one. So you're constantly going back to that little spot by the restrooms in Disney
Yes.
World. And that's where we ran into you randomly.
Yes, that's so
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, we did randomly run into each other at Magic Kingdom, which our kids were so excited. Like I just remember it was by the bathrooms too.
Uh-huh.
They
Right
were
by Fish
so
Family
excited.
Robinson.
Yeah, to see each other. But yeah, we went back and forth. We talked about restaurants we were going to eat at. And what's funny is at the time when we were planning this ourselves, we didn't even know that there were travel agents who specialized in this. So we did
Mhm.
everything ourselves. And I can remember on the day our dining opened, we didn't know it opened at 5 a.m. And so I like hopped on, I think at like 10 a.m. and everything I wanted was like gone.
Yeah, I feel
And I
like with
was
Disney, you just
shocked.
learn so much. It can be very overwhelming. And I know lots of moms who are like, well, I don't even take the trip because it feels overwhelming. So when we are always talking travel, all sorts of different trips that we love to do with our families. And we were like, we need to put something out there that other moms, dads, parents, whatever your family looks like, whether you're traveling with grandparents, aunts, uncles, little kids, teenagers, just tips, keeping it fun, keeping it real, stuff that you can learn from. And then we want to hear from you as well about your travels because I think when you come together and do this, it just makes it so much more fun.
Absolutely. And just a note, this podcast is not only going to be about Disney travel, it's just that's kind of what sparked our love, our like mutual love for travel was, planning this trip together. I mean together, not together. But
Yeah.
this podcast is going to be all about travel, traveling to all different kinds of destinations. Eve has traveled all over the world because she was in a military family. She's lived all over the world. So she has a
Yes.
lot of great experience. Plus, we're just going to do some basic episodes on how to travel as a family because some people are literally starting from ground zero. They have no idea what to do, they don't even know where to start. So, we are here to help you figure all of that out.
Yeah, I'm so excited about that. So why don't we talk a little bit about ourselves and how we kind of got started with this?
Sounds good.
I'll go ahead and jump in. So, like Jenny said, I caught the travel bug really early. My dad's retired Air Force. I grew up traveling around the world, Australia, Hawaii, Canada, all over the US. But I always thought that is so fun to do together because you make the best memories. And that also includes when things go wrong. So, sometimes those make the funniest memories. Um, I can't wait to get in the podcast down the road and we share things like this as well. But I have had that travel bug. And after I graduated from college, I joined the Air Force, lived around the world, was in England, met my husband there. We had the travel bug. We traveled all over Europe on our weekends, traveling on a low budget, doing super fun little trips. And then now I have four kids. I have a sophomore in college, a junior in high school, a freshman in high school, and a third grader, three boys and one girl, and they all have the travel bug as well. I think something really special about that is like the exposure that that gives them, different cultures, different ways to move through the world. They have a lot of confidence traveling now. And so for me, that feels so good. And I'm always planning our next vacation in my mind.
Oh, yes, that's like the best part is always thinking, where can we go next? Where can we go next? Or checking flights. It's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Jenny, and I grew up in just a regular middle class family. We took one big trip every year, usually in the summer, just because that's when we were out of school. But my parents always made it a priority for us to try to travel somewhere new. And we mostly just stayed in the US because my mom is scared of flying. And so we would have to pick somewhere we could drive. So I felt really lucky as a kid getting to travel at all because a lot of my friends didn't even really get to travel. So that was really fun. When I met my husband, we were in college. He never traveled. I think he had been out of the state twice when we met. And so he was very interested in traveling. We went to Jamaica for our honeymoon. That was the first time either of us had ever left the country. And so that was, interesting, a great
That's cool.
experience. Since then, we have three kids, two boys and a girl. My oldest is 20. My other son is 18, and then my daughter is 13, and they love to travel. We started traveling with them. I mean, they were kind of young, not super young. My daughter was really young when we started traveling, but we've been to all different kinds of places. Cameron and I have traveled to Europe a couple of times. The kids have been to Costa Rica. That's the only place they've been out of the country so far. We are going to Turks and Caicos later this year, so that will be fun. But yeah, we are always talking about where we're going to travel. We make travel bucket list. Our best memories as a family is traveling. We absolutely love it. We love sitting at the dinner table talking about what was your favorite part when we went to San Francisco? What was your favorite part when we went to Boston? And kind of just talking about those experiences. And as a mom, I love hearing the different perspectives of my kids and like what they got out of the trip. And so, literally, when we're in the airport after a trip, I'm already quizzing them. What was your favorite part? What did you like most? What didn't you like? Because I like to know that as well. So, travel is just kind of a part of our family now. My daughter and I travel to Disney a lot. Like, we go 2 to 3
A
times a
lot.
year, a lot. That's like our special place that we like to go together and spend time together. And with her being like a teenage girl, I like to be able to have that with her.
hmm And I love how you have taken your kids on individual trips. I think that's really special to do that as well.
Yeah, I love one-on-one trips with kids. It just gives you a chance to really get to know them a little bit closer, and it builds a really good bond with them. So when you're back, especially now that two of my kids are in college, having those times and my husband's taken them on one trips, having those times with us has built a really good relationship. So now when they find themselves in trouble where they're at, they feel comfortable coming to us with that instead of trying to hide it because we've built these like foundational relationships because of travel. Like travel is so important for families. And I think a lot of families just look at a big trip as being something expensive. We can't afford it. We can't do it. But you can make any trip, even just going to your local beach and staying there for a week or even like 3 nights, that can be a memorable experience for your family and build these bonds within each other that will always be there. Like I look so forward to my kids getting married and us all traveling together with their kids and as a family. And that's something I just kind of want to continue.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot as well too, as well as just like the confidence that the kids get in knowing how to travel.
Yes.
One of our biggest favorite vacations that we took is we did a this is we called it our This Is Us tour because my husband Sean and I met in England, and so we took all four of our kids to England on a big 2 week trip, and we took them around where we went. But on the trip, like say we were on the Underground in London, we were like, you guys get us to this place where we're going. And so they learned how, by the end of the trip, they had that tube map down. They were taking us, and to see that confidence in them was really special. And even like this year, my son went to New York City over spring break with a bunch of high schoolers. And he said he was like the leader on the trip because he knew how to travel, he knew how to get through the airports. And so that just made me really proud as a parent that these things that you think are just fun, are they worth spending the money on? Is it, worth planning? Yes, they are. We always say, take the trip. It's totally worth it, even if it's a small trip, like Jenny said. Make those memories.
Absolutely. And you just never know like where your kids are going to go in their future. And so giving them some basic foundations on how to navigate an airport. It is shocking how many adults cannot navigate an airport. I mean, even my own parents aren't great at it because they don't fly often. So that was definitely something I wanted to introduce to my kids so they would feel
Mhm.
confident doing that if they decided they wanted to travel as an adult because it can be overwhelming.
Absolutely. And that's something that we wanted to talk about as well. Every week, we're going to have a tip of the week, and we're going to share something with you. This week, we're in our Adventure Books tip of the week, we're going to talk about packing, or what your tip is for packing. So, Jenny, what is your tip on packing?
My biggest tip that I literally tell everyone is pack in a carry-on. I am such a huge proponent for only packing in carry-ons, and that is because we had a like core memory moment of sitting on an airplane and watching our suitcase sitting in the pouring rain,
I
knowing
remember that.
everything inside was getting soaking wet. And we were going snow skiing, so we were going to a warm destination where it was okay to have wet clothes. We were going to a freezing cold destination where having wet clothes was going to be, kind of a big deal. After that vacation, I threw away the big suitcases. I said, we are never, ever, ever, ever doing that again. And I got every single person in my family their own carry-on. Everyone packs their own bag, and it also helps with overpacking. One of I think the biggest mistakes people do is overpack. You really don't need that much clothes when you're on vacation, especially if you have an opportunity to wash your clothes. So carry on all the way every day.
I love it. I remember you telling me that story and being a little bit traumatized for you.
Traumatized. Like I literally threw that big suitcase away. I was like, we're done. I don't ever want to see you again.
Yeah. I mean, that's another tip too for like a big family because usually, if you're getting a rental car on the other end, packing in those big suitcases can get complicated. So having a carry-on means you can fit everything. When we were on our England trip and we had just carry-ons, there is no way we would have made it without a carry-on. I mean, we were like a clown car with six people, six bags, and six backpacks getting in one of those little cars in England. So
Yes.
I love that. Yes. And my tip is actually with a suitcase as well. It sounds super basic, but it's something that just always worked for us. So when we are packing, we get out our carry-ons. My kids lay out all their clothes on the floor. We do it by day. And again, if we're taking a longer trip, we plan that laundry day. So we're like, pack for 3 days, 4 days, whatever. We'll do laundry, and then you can do that. But we lay everything out by day, underwear, shorts, socks, everything. And then we roll those together for that day. Boom, it's easy. It makes it super simple. When you get on the other end, you're just picking up that one outfit. You're not having to like be like, oh, this shirt goes with that. And it's just less thinking. I like to do things simply. But the other part of that is that it allows them to do that. So they lay out all their clothes. I come and oversee it. I'm like, oh, don't forget underwear, socks, raincoat, whatever. But they pack it all out. They put it in their suitcase. And then since they've been young, they've basically been packing their own suitcases, which again, just another good life skill. It's another confidence builder. It's one more thing off your plate. because we all know that, the parent could end up doing all of that work, and it's a lot of thought to go into that. So that's my big tip is rolling up those clothes, packing it by day, throwing it in a carry-on. And then also, I don't go anywhere without my water bottle. We all take a little stainless steel or plastic, if we're going hiking or whatever. We always carry a water bottle with us. We fill it up in the airport as soon as we get there. We're taking it through the Disney parks. We're taking it everywhere. You're saving money. You're keeping plastic, out of there, not buying single-use plastics if you can help it, but always take a water bottle. It's saved us a million times.
Oh yeah, water bottle is so important because
Yeah,
first of all, water is so expensive, which is insane.
it's so
You
expensive.
can get it for free.
And you can get dehydrated so easily when you're traveling, and then everybody has it there with them. Everyone's feeling good. Just rock and roll on your vacation.
Yeah, I love the tip about letting your kids pack for themselves. That's something that I've been doing a long time. I actually don't oversee my kids packing. I let them be completely independent on it, and that's made for some funny moments. But, lessons learned.
Yes, experience breeds confidence. That's what I always
Yes.
say.
I just think it's important. I remember when my kids were younger, I used to pack for them, and then we'd get somewhere and they would be like, I don't want to wear this outfit. And so that was just when I was like, fine, you pick your own clothes. I really don't care. As long as you have clothes on, we can make it work.
Yep, and it does work. It
It
works
does work.
great.
It always works out, even if they're
Yeah.
wearing the same pair of socks for the whole week.
I mean, sometimes I do that. It's just easier.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? You're on vacation. You got to just go with the flow.
Yeah. I also do like to pack one of those little net laundry baskets, because it just rolls up really keep easy. I just keep it in that suitcase, and then when you get on the other end, you can throw your dirty laundry in there. It makes it easy if you're going to do laundry on that end. I have funny memories of washing our clothes in England in a single washer that was also the dryer, but then hang drying clothes over the stairway. And it's funny when you think about your big trips, some of the things that you do remember that aren't like the big kind of special moments. They're just the little things that you end up talking about with your family, and that makes those vacations just so memorable.
For sure. And we will definitely get more into international travel because that is quite interesting. We had an interesting washing situation in Costa Rica that I was not prepared for, but that's just all part of the fun. And that's why we're here. From between the two of us, we have a ton of travel experience, and we are going to help you make your trips easier and more streamlined and try to educate you so that when you do go, you do feel confident. And also, we're going to like tell our horror stories, quote unquote, so that when that happens to you, you don't have to feel alone because it happens to everyone. Family travel is not perfect. You are not going to go on this vacation and everything's going to be sunshine and roses. You're going to have kids fighting. You're going to have kids not wanting to eat at a restaurant. You're going to have kids who forgot clothes and have to wear the same thing for a week. It's all fine. Like, who cares? And at the end of
Yep,
the day, you're on vacation is better than being at home.
absolutely. In our family, we have a little saying that as soon as we hit the door and we're on the road, wherever we're going, whether it's an airport or a trip, we say we go into travel flexibility mode. And it has just made everything so much easier because something will inevitably go wrong. Somebody will fight, you will get lost, you will forget something. But if you're in travel flexibility mode, everyone's like, ah, it's
Yeah,
fine. We're in flexibility mode. What do we do now? So that's
it's
really fun.
totally true. I love that. All right, so that is our first episode. If you are listening to this, we are so excited. You're one of, the OGs. You're going to be the OG of the podcast, and we're really excited that you're here and enjoying. Make sure that wherever you are listening, you subscribe to the podcast. And the best thing you can do to help us out right now is to leave us a positive review on Apple or Spotify, just because that's going to push the show and help the show grow. And we would appreciate it. We're going to read every single um, review that we get. If you have a problem with the show, instead of leaving a negative review, why don't you just send us an email or a comment below? All of that's going to be in the show notes. And if you're watching on YouTube, if this goes on YouTube, we don't know yet. If it does, you can make comments there as well. We are going to have an Instagram at some point. It's not up yet, but when it is up, we will let you know. And we will also put that in the show notes as well.
Yes, and feel free to share this with other people. Like we said, this is a community. We want to hear where you want to go, what tips you want to hear. Um, anything like that. We would love feedback as well. So please share. Thank you so much for listening today. Go ahead and start planning that next trip because truly the best memories, the best stories that you make are going to be the ones that you do together.